Some of you already heard me kind of talk on credit repair, credit restoration assistance before, right? Let me see a show of hands of how many have. Okay, so we do have a few that haven't. It's always good to take a refresher course because this stuff is it's not forever changing, but it is a little bit confusing because it's something that hasn't really been taught in the public school system. First of all, my name is William Crowley. A lot of people call me the credit man. I've been around doing credit repair for about 16 years now in this area with the same phone number. So I'm not running and hiding from anybody. And I do it nationwide, okay? Now, we have a program that's we refer to it as National Credit Restoration Assistance as opposed to credit repair, because what we like to consider is that we're credit repair on steroids. And I speak in front of a lot of real estate investor audiences. And so I draw a comparison of realtors versus real estate investors. So real estate investors to me are realtors on steroids. And what I found is that, even find, is that the real estate investors know 10 times as much as the realtors. Do we have any realtors in the room today? I wanted to make sure that you understood that if you were a realtor in the room, that the real estate investors is who you need to align yourselves with if you really want to understand the industry. So in credit restoration assistance, that's plug-in, that's a what you want to call it, a segue right to me now. So if you have a credit repair person in the room, is there a credit repair person in the room? If there is, you need to affiliate yourself with someone that knows credit repair on steroids, in other words. And that's me, credit restoration assistance. So what we do is we teach credit repair, and then we have a lot of added bonuses that definitely complements this industry, the real estate industry, because everybody in here are either investors or real estate investors or aspiring real estate investors, right? Correct? Okay, and most of you are going to use Alegi to provide capital to invest in the mentorship program, perhaps, unless you already have the money. Okay, now there's 4 categories, actually 3 categories that 4, I think I'll count in just a minute, that I specifically deal with when we're talking about the credit industry, and one is this one here. Now, for those of you who have been to, can you see that from where you're at? Not well. Let's go. Go blue? Go blue. Okay. This one seems like a light blue, though. For those of you who have been in my presentation, don't tell me what this acronym means. I want those who are new to it to tell me what this acronym means. FCRA? Go ahead. Fair Credit Reporting Act, right. That's one of the primary acts that we use in helping people to overturn or to understand the credit industry, and then how to deal with it in a legal way to have information removed off of a credit report. Okay, now I'll break it down in just a minute. Now the FDCPA. Anybody heard of that acronym? Okay, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Okay, and then we want to understand the UCC, which all commerce is conducted under this. Right, the Uniform Commercial Code. Okay, so these are the 3 areas that I deal with specifically in credit restoration. This is the prominent one right here. Okay, that is the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Now, what most of us went through the public school system, even higher levels of education. This should be taught there. Okay, the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Unfortunately, it's not taught there. Okay. And there's a reason being. Once you read it, you'll see why it's not being taught there, because they want us to be just consumers. And we don't want to be, we want to be educated consumers, if any type of consumer at all. And I hate to use that word consumer, okay, but for lack of a better phrase. We've got to be familiar with these 3 areas, especially when it comes to credit. The credit industry is a trillion-dollar industry, if I must say, okay? And they make money off of the ignorance of the masses of the people. Because we aren't familiar with primarily these 2, we've incorporated Uniform Commercial Code as well, though, to help people become more familiar with that too. The Fair Credit Reporting Act was created by Congress in 1970, shortly after the first credit reporting agency was formed in 1969. Does anybody know the name of the first credit reporting agency that was formed? Anybody know? TRW. Because some of the older folks, now I'm 55, so So we should, yeah, TRW is the first one, which is now Experian. Okay, that is the largest credit reporting agency in the country, but nevertheless they have over 800. The big three are whom we concerned with, and that is Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Now, those of you, everybody in here that has a Social Security number is dealing with the credit industry. And everybody in here has a 100% inaccurate credit report, 100%. Inaccurate, yeah, I want to make sure you didn't say accurate. I said 100% inaccurate credit report. Now, let me tell you why. Okay, I see people shaking their heads and going, hey, I know I bought that house. I know I had that repo. I know I had that bankruptcy, but the reason being is because who in here has been contacted by the credit reporting agency? Anybody here been called by the credit reporting agency? Yeah, he just exposed himself because anybody that holds their hand up in my seminars, I know they have collection accounts. A collection account is not the credit reporting agency. That means you have bad credit. You haven't paid your bills on time. So a collector will call you. The credit reporting agency is the one that's supposed to be calling you on a daily or hourly basis. Every time you participate in a commercial transaction, you should get a call from the credit reporting agency if that information is being reported on your credit report. You should be contacted, according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, you should be contacted. So most people come to me, well, if you got good credit, then you say, well, listen, I don't care about taking in this information off my credit, and I don't care if it's accurate. I know that it's mine, and I have an 800 credit score, so there's no problem. But then again, there's some people that come to me with positive credit that want to lower their debt to income ratios. Okay, now when I'm doing a presentation, I hate my PowerPoint because I hate to stick within the realms of what they call the law. I want to deal with the gray area when it comes to credit restoration assistance. Okay, that's the credit repair in the gray areas. What they don't tell you is what I want you to know about. Okay, because that's probably more advantageous for you. Now, the first thing I start off with is everything is inaccurate on your credit report. Everything is inaccurate. Now, people that come to me with good credit, but they have what they call a high debt to income ratio, they want some of that positive information removed. I say, okay, great, I'll dispute it according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act because I can't have it removed because it has not been properly verified according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Now, what I mean by that, the credit reporting agency is supposed to contact you before putting anything on your credit report. Because how do they know if it's true or not? They don't. They're just a private company. That's why Congress had to create the Fair Credit Reporting Act in 1970, shortly after the first credit reporting agency was formed in 1969, because they've seen how much power they have. And they're just private companies. They like to align themselves with the government to intimidate the mass of the people because the mass of people are really intimidated by the government. So if you say you're associated with the government and they tell you what to do, then you're going to do it without any questions, okay? And so I want to tell people that if the Fair Credit Reporting Act is there, we need to breathe life into this document to say, listen, I need some leverage here. I need to be able to invest in real estate. I need to be able to invest in something, okay? But since we're talking specifically about real estate, I need to be able to invest in real estate, and I have to have good credit in order to do that. Now, I know in most cases, a lot of times they tell you, well, you don't have to have any money. You don't have to have good credit to invest. But still, even if they tell you that, if your credit's bad, you should deal with your credit issues because at some juncture in your life, it's going to come back to plague you. So we try to get people to be proactive, but most of the time people are being reactive when they come to me. Because if you're proactive, you can start studying the Fair Credit Reporting Act and you can eliminate a lot of this negative information that's supposedly going to go onto your credit report by knowing the Fair Credit Reporting Act. But most of the time people come to me reactive, they've already done the damage, so I've got to clean them up. But the Fair Credit Reporting Act specifically stipulates that any lender that submits information to the credit reporting agency, the credit reporting agency, as long as they're going to keep it in their files and tuck it away in their vaults or whatever, not going to distribute this information, that's fine. But what they're doing is they're gathering this information and they're selling it. That's where the problem begins. Because you say, okay, if you're going to sell this information, you must sell factual, accurate information, not inaccurate information. But that's what they're doing on a daily basis. And then you all, or family and friends or whomever, are being turned down for credit lines that you really shouldn't be because you've had some type of negative issues on your credit report that has not been properly verified.